would like to know more of these challenges because I'm really intrigued about this cultural diversity, in learning, especially in rural areas. And I'm thinking there are more challenges. So, what challenges do you think people encounter or children, teachers encounter when it comes to early childhood education?
One of the, I wouldn't say, it doesn't sound pressing, but it actually is infrastructure and accessibility.
Oh, okay. What about that?
Yeah, like statistically, it's been shown that there's a direct link between lack of good infrastructure and accessibility to education to poor education then. While because of, just imagine having to walk 1 mile, 1 kilometer to your school. By the time you get to school, you're already exhausted.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. The roof is not of the school is not good, or the infrastructures are not properly made. There are no good toilets. There are no good facilities. So when you come to school, you have to hold in like whenever you need to use the convenience or anything.
Oh. Wow.
Exactly. Like, and even if you go out to relieve yourself, you are relieving yourself in your surroundings, which is teaching bad hygiene culture. So all these things are things that affect the child and their effectiveness to learn. So you're coming in tired. Sometimes your parents might think you're even too young to go alone and they have other things to go. So in the end, it turns out that the physical and financial cost of education to the parents now become more than the cost of no education.
Wow.
So after a while, they stop sending their
kids. Say that again. Say that again.
Like the physical and financial cost of education becomes higher than the cost of no education.
Oh, that's a lot.
Wow.
There's a lot in that.
Yeah.
Wow. Continue.
So when you're desperate, you tend to choose the lesser cost.
Yeah.
So parents now stop their kids from going to school. They're like, after all, they can go to primary school. Because let's just tell the truth, a lot of Nigerians don't really see the essence of nursery school.
Yeah.
Thinking to play. Exactly. And you now miss out on the things like learning ABCD, learning how to write. Let me just tell something. When I was going through the rural nursery program, do you know that learning to hold a pen and pencil is not instinctive?
Oh.
So, like in one of the things you have to learn in nursery school is fine motor skills, how to pick up objects, how to use your fingers, dexterity, how to move your fingers effectively and finely, like fine
and this
skills.
Is nursery school that this thing should be. No?
Yes, you have exercises for it.
Oh yeah.
So that's why sometimes if you go to nursery school, you see some people holding their pencils like this or like this, making writing easier, harder, like. So they are learning things they should already know in primary school, and they're not catching up. So if you look at it, what seems like minor inconvenience is like, oh, is it not just a little transport? Is it not just a little rain? Okay, just toilets. Turn out to have like a much higher repercussion to them. So these are things that we see in nursery school. Another one that we tend to see is that teacher recruitment and retention. If most of you went to, like, if you went to an urban school, you know that your teacher lasted for years. You see her in the hallway and she's like part of your life. You had one teacher from your like throughout a year, and you got to know each other. She got to know you, you got to know her. But rural schools, they have been said to be high levels of turnovers. And among this turnover is the length a teacher stays. So when you have high turnover rate, that means teachers are coming in and going out, And it has been reported statistically that 79% of these teachers that keep on leaving rural nursery areas are actually the high quality teachers.
Oh, and most likely they're going to be better paid, which could be in private schools.
Yes, and 92% of them, about 92% of them are young teachers.
Wow.
So you're left
most likely, I don't want to believe that it's people who probably didn't get a job early or didn't advance their study to I know a friend who wasn't opportune to go to the university. And with her secondary school certificate, she was made a nursery school teacher. Well, I understand. I don't think everybody qualifies to be a
Yeah, that's one of the things. And then you see the quality ones are going out, the young ones are going out. So you're left with teachers that don't have the energy or the strength to deal with very
this
active.
girl that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This is like 20 years or 18 and then carrying 35 children in front.
Exactly. Like, so that's why like it's hard. Like, see, if young teachers are going out, high quality teachers are going out, you're left with teachers that are not very equipped to deal with the situation and do not have the energy, because the older you get, you don't have the energy to be running around with toddlers. Like, you either condition them to learn how to sit at a place, which is not right. They need to expand that.
Okay. Meaning that from what you're saying now, it could be extreme. Too young teachers or too old teachers. Is that what you're saying?
You need, like, that's one of the things I was doing in research. You need to pair an experienced teacher with a new teacher. Yes, education.
Pair an experienced teacher with a new teacher. What do you mean by that?
Okay, like now, if I've been working in the school for 5 years. Okay, 6, maybe 7, 8. So I've had experiences. There are things they don't teach in schools that you learn. If I pair this young teacher with an experienced teacher, that young teacher would have the, how do I put it, would have better adjustments, because this teacher has taken her under her wing like a mentor.
So meaning before teachers leave,
yes,
they should mentor people before they go.
Yes, and even if you're not going, you just, like, people are coming under this, you pair them with an experienced teacher.
Okay, as a teacher comes to a school, instead of just giving the
teacher workload,
yes, pairing the person with an older teacher,
yes,
and then with time, maybe a year,
she gain experience, guidance, things that she needs to ask or need to know.
Great.
Because one of the factors we're seeing in that turnover rate was isolation and disconnect to the community. This teacher is coming, let me just imagine that she's coming from a university now that already has a community. She has access to like a lot of technology.
A young graduate.
Yes, exactly. So she's coming to a rural area where she's going to face a lot of technological differences. She's going to be isolated from her friends. She's not going to have friends there. She doesn't know a lot of people, you understand, because she will have to move closer. And even at that, if she's not moving closer, even the transport. So now she must be feeling some kind of way, you understand, isolation. But pairing her with this older mentor that will take her under her wing, understand, tell her, oh, this is how you do things. Oh, you don't know how to walk around the situation. Instead of using the way that they taught you in school, this is an easier way that we use for rural schools to adjust. It happens in nursing programs. That's what they do. They pair you with a person that will tell you, oh, this is the way they teach you in school. But since we don't have that equipment, this is the way we like to do it. So you don't find yourself floundering and like, oh my God, what do I want to do? And you now find yourself being lost, and then you start to detest the place you are and looking for a better environment. So you get used to it. So this also helps you gain passion for the job. It also helps with that attrition because you have someone that is guiding you, someone that is leading you, someone that is gathering you around.
Yeah, very insightful. I think this is one of the things we're going to hit more on for the government to make this adjustment in your policies. Yeah, this is very insightful. What about you, Mr. You have more to add to
Yes, let me, to what she just said. I think the older teachers are leaving because of the pay. Because there is this post I saw online, like it was a post, and then they were like, a nursery school teacher is needed at a government school, and the pay is 20K. So
it was a funny.
No, it was not a
like
fun.
It was real.
Yeah, it was real. It was in one job platform like that. So they were like, a nursery school teacher needed, and the pay is 20K. So which graduates would like to go and take a job that the pay is 20K? So
which is
graduate, and then that will now make the unqualified ones, and I will not call them uneducated one, but the ones that have not attended, like there is no
certification,
with any better certificates to take up the job.
I'm telling you that I know.
Yes,
it's just with SSCE, Y4RED.
Yes.
She's already teaching people in nursery school.
And then when she takes up the job,
her to be at least even an NCE.
Yes,
or at least she should go for like a teaching training for like a period of years.
And so at the end, at the end, the qualified ones will not take the job. They will look for a private school or a better paying place to say. And then at the end is the unqualified ones that are taking up the job because of. And let me just take this and pay time. And so when they just go there, after all,
most likely less passionate about it.
yes, and then when they just go there, they'll just say, she's just teaching. I know of teachers that stay in class and then they don't even teach. They rather go online with their phone and just leave the kids. And then maybe when a higher teacher or the headmistress is coming by, they will not start doing
Stop making noise.
Stop making noise. You understand? So you see, they don't have the passion for it and they are not qualified for it.
Funny enough, do you know that a cleaner makes more than 20K in a month? Honestly.
A cleaner.
Yeah, like it's more than 20K in a month.
And then the teacher is first. Well, you know this thing they say that their reward is in heaven. The really one is in heaven.
Real?
Yeah, so the bills on God. That's crazy.
That reward better come fast because they have kids to take care of them themselves.
So maybe they need to take the kids to heaven. But on a lighter note, I think that's what we're saying this, but then it's really important because if a teacher, there's this thing that I know that despite passion and at the core of man's existence, it's like he needs to be sure that there's food on his table, there's shelter, and what's the other one? Food, clothing, and shelter. Yes. If the teachers cannot be able to afford to fix these basic needs in their homes, I think they don't care less about this. This is what we are.
And they'll move on to a better job. They'll pay them.
And they won't bother about this.
And they won't bother. That's just the fact of it.
And not this 20,000 naira stuff that you just put out. If you know your worth as a teacher, you will. I know where I should be. I'm not going to be in this place because I know my worth. And I can't earn less than my worth. But you know that situation they make crayfish bend.
Yes.
But that's why as soon as opportunity
comes, they will go. You will not see their break lights.
Highest, they'll give you a month notice. Some don't even give you any.
Some will disappear. You will not see them.
And it's actually affecting the learning of the students.
Yes.
Because how can someone that just finished primary 6 that didn't attend any other school or any other educational level will now come out to start teaching another kid? Like, what? Is it phonetics you want to teach the kids? Is it skill? Is it morals?
Education is really important.
And besides, knowing, people be like, oh, the person already passed through nursery school. How hard can it be? Knowing is not teaching. They are two different things. Like some people will be like, oh, they passed through nursery and primary school and they learnt it. So yes, and they should know how to pass on the knowledge. But knowing something is not teaching it. It's very, very different. Those are different skills. Like sometimes if you start volunteering as one of us, like when you start volunteering, you will notice that you knew like the stuff, you knew the phonetics, you knew the ABCD. Yes. But trying to impact it on them was something you had to think about. You understand? You had to learn a different technique. You understand? You had to learn a technique. You had to figure out how best to tell the child that A means A and B, what B actually means. Yeah. So like, how are you confident? How are these people very, very confident to enter a class and say, oh, I'm going to teach a group of students when I have never learned how to teach before?
So you see, you don't have, guys, if you go to College of Education, or if you study, I think people who should teach rural nursery or nursery school children or early childhood, like children in 0 to 5, 6, should just be more than people who, at least they should have something, a background in education.
Yes, at least
because
something.
I think in let's say Department of Education, they teach you. They go for TP, teaching practice. Yeah. They teach you how to teach, and you didn't go through that. Okay, there's no mentor in the school like an older teacher that's like know how apprenticeship kind of stuff. Like not teaching you. You just go. It's crazy.
No, on their CV they'll write, I have younger siblings.
When really people say things like that.
I'm just joking, but they'll be like, that's their qualification. Some of them will be like, I have younger siblings. I babysat for my younger siblings. So like I should.
That serves as teaching experience.
That serves as teaching
I
experience.
teach lesson.
Yeah. So another challenge I would even like to hammer on is lack of educational like materials. That is the giant. Like apart from teachers, I feel like yes, number one, there's something I read that the quality of a teacher is the biggest impact, like has the biggest impact on a student's learning. But after that, is materials. When the teacher has no tools to actually teach, how do you expect her to impact that knowledge on the kids?
Yeah. I think that's what you said. Something like it makes the teachers feel frustrated. And
Yes, it's very frustrating, especially it's easy to like no matter how there's lack of material. If you have one kid, you can find different weird things, anything around you to teach the kid. Do you understand? But when you have a class of like 35, 30, 25, you need those materials so that you can distribute them and teach them like you understand. Oh, everybody will be going along, everybody will be flowing along. But now nobody, like they don't have these materials, they don't have books, they don't have textbooks, they don't have access to materials. And they only have these 8 hours of learning in school. And that's it. And there's one problem I've noticed in rural knowledge school. If you've noticed it, like it's very subtle, you don't notice it unless you remember back to your nursery and primary school days. They have one teacher for every subject.
Okay. What does that mean?
Like, okay, not just in rural knowledge school, it's not that bad because you're not teaching them like work. But in primary school, you have one teacher teaching science, teaching maths, teaching English, teaching.
Oh, okay. You mean a teacher, like their class teacher, is the one teaching the whole
maths, English, science, arts, history. Is the teacher I know it though? Like honestly, and even if she is, how is she making lesson plans for all of them? Isn't it tiring? To get lesson plans, to make lesson plans, to make notes, to have information and insight.
It's pretty manageable that a teacher teaches arts and the other one teaches science kind of thing. At least it's manageable that you're just focusing on arts, the other one is science. Like 2 teachers, but not one
teacher. Yeah, like I've seen structures where it's instead of doing it like that, instead of having a class teacher teach one subject for an entire class. Let me say there's a class teacher for primary 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Primary 1 will be an arts teacher, 1 history, 1 science. So instead of your class teacher teaching you everything, they'll just swap during periods. Do you understand? Maybe this one's class teacher that is the maths teacher. When primary 1 is having maths, you go to that class. Rather than expecting someone, and remember, some of these people do not have the qualifications. They are teaching things that they shouldn't be teaching and things they don't have anything about. So they are learning that time they are teaching the students the time they are learning about that stuff. So it's like
and they'll be like, well, like what didn't you studied arts education and it was like English education to be precise, and then you become a class teacher and you're teaching mathematics in the class, you're teaching basic science, and you'll be like, well, it's just 1 + 1, just ordinary 1 + 1. You wouldn't teach that mathematics like a born mathematics teacher would.
Good.
Because it's not just this and that. Well, you too, as long as you know it, okay. Like you said, knowing it is not teaching it. I'm like, okay, I know 1 + 1, but they might not really be good math teachers.
And besides, if you all remember, has any of your younger siblings or younger person given you the assignment recently?
No, I don't have a younger sibling.
Yes.
Do you realize that you don't know anything about the methods or techniques you need to get that answer?
Yes.
Sometimes you yourself, you know the answer, you just write it maybe 25.
Yes.
But then they'll ask you use elimination method or
and then you're asking yourself,
I cracked my head.
what is this?
God, I opened book, I opened Google. I said, Google, please solve this for me. ChatGPT,
he doesn't know it.
I had to go separately. Now, these teachers that have not gotten certification, they are learning these things just as they're teaching their kids. So they know only the bare minimum and they can't impact it as well as a teacher that already knows this and who has studied, who knows the intricacies of this topic. Now, like I had a maths teacher growing up. My maths teacher, he was in love with mathematics. He studied mathematics as his degree in university. And when he was teaching maths, he not just teach us about maths itself or the formulas. He taught us about the stories behind who made them. And since I was a story engaged person, I tended to listen more when I was in those maths classes. So now we have teachers that do not have the certification, are learning as the students are learning, and are not just learning one topic. They are learning a myriad of topics. They are learning different topics across the board to teach these children when they barely know it themselves. Like, how can you expect education to be good when the learner, a student, is teaching a student? Wow. It doesn't make sense on any level.
Oh, wow. It's been really insightful. And I think most of what we're saying concerning like the teacher aspect. Yeah, so more about different perspectives to go about early childhood education, challenges concerning early childhood education will be explained, talked about on this platform. So we'd encourage you, kindly follow us on our social media handles, follow us on Facebook, like follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook, follow us on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and also on our YouTube channel. So before we go, I would like our guests to offer some solutions concerning these issues discussed today. To you, Madam Flora, what suggestion, what in little words, what solutions do you have to offer?
Okay, based on the aspect of parents' engagement and support. Firstly, I would like to talk about parents' commitment. Like, some parents don't have personal relationship with their children. So I would like the parents to try to have a personal relationship with the kids. Maybe you try to lessen your commitments to work, and then you try to like create a time for you and your kids. And then for the ones that are not educated, that are non-educated, the government, or rather the community, should try to set up maybe evening classes. Maybe no classes, or maybe seminars. Yes,
like community engagement, sensitization,
yes,
awareness about.
It will also make them feel closer to their kids.
Yeah.
So, and the government, the only way the communities can do this is through the government's help.
And also NGOs like
yes, NGOs. And then these people will come to talk to this uneducated parent. At least from there, they will try to know that once a child comes back after a 10, you are asking the person, how is your result? So like that, the child knows that once he or she is going back to school. Yes, once the child is going back to school, you know that once I come back, my parents are going to ask me about my assessment, and I know that once I fail, they are either going to scold me or they will beat me up. So something like this.
But not visiting,
but
like at least they know that they are accountable.
Yeah, positive and negative reinforcement.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
do you have any?
Yeah, on my problem, the challenges with infrastructure, I think most of it will have to do with the government, the solutions. Number one, they should create budgets. Things like school buses are very economical. You get a bus, and then there's a budget for especially in an area, and you pick up the kids. There should be school buses and provision for fuels. The buses will go around, pick up the kids. It will make it easier on the parents. The parents will not have to worry about their kid getting lost or walking a long distance. The kids will gather at a stop or a general area every morning, and the bus will pick them up and go. There can be things like mobile toilets. Those are easier to clean and easier to get. And also, this one is more for like also infrastructure and kind of resources. I learned about these school sharing resources. Like 2 schools can partner up. Or we have this in abundance, or we've used this and we actually got more. Okay, I'm donating this to another school. Or we want to use a game or something that we do not have on Friday. Can you lend us yours? We'll return it, we promise to return it back in good condition. When this kind of partnership is fostered, you can actually create a place where you don't need to buy twice as much things.
Yeah.
You can always lend. Sharing is caring. Also, for the teacher retention, just like I mentioned, there should be a mentorship program also. And also, the government can create like incentives for the teachers to make them want to be in rural areas. Sometimes it's not just about the pay. There are things you can add, or like, okay, if you apply for rural areas for 2 to 3 years, you'll be eligible for this certain grant, or you'll be eligible for a scholarship. You understand?
To advance your studies.
Yes.
Good, because a lot of teachers in nursery school, I noticed they don't even have high level education compared to others in secondary school, others in university.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a bad thing for someone with a PhD to or someone with masters to teach not small children.
Yeah.
Well, they always make it look like it's lesser qualifications or it's huge.
Exactly.
And sometimes these teachers in these nursery, early childhood kind of classes can't advance their studies. So this thing you're saying, there should be stuff that the government is contributing to their studies. They're going to come back.
They're going to stay longer. Yes, and let's just tell the truth. Companies do this. Why can't the government? Companies will be like, okay, if you stay with us for 3 years, we'll send you on certain trainings.
Because I'm going to improve. It's going to
like incentives like that. Or you can even be like, we provide lodging or this thing. There should be teachers areas.
Yeah.
And also the community should also engage with those teachers. So you don't just find, oh, I'm teaching for teaching sake, I'm teaching for the pay. Oh, you can be like, oh, I love these people, I love the environment, I want to stay here longer. I'm making a change.
That's good.
Yeah.
So another thing I want to talk about is cultural and linguistic diversity, and that is language diversity. So I think that based on language diversity, if the communities, or rather the government, should bring us a curriculum to teach these kids, like to teach them about languages, they can be able to learn and then be able to associate with their members or maybe the teachers. Because a Yoruba child that doesn't know how to speak Igbo cannot associate with the teacher. So if these curriculums are added to the schools and not just adding them, being taken serious, like being to teach them seriously.
Florence, you might actually have found the solution to like world peace and ethnic distance. If I speak your language, or if I know a bit of your language, I wouldn't feel that different from you as we grow up. I'll be like, oh, my Igbo brother, do you understand? If he speaks more, I will not even feel.
But the problem I noticed is that what I think the government did was, if you are in Eastern region, the national language, the cultural language to learn is Igbo. If you are in Western region, in Yoruba, you would learn in school. If you are in Northern region, so I see.
But funny enough,
like you know how in Y4RED, it's Igbo they teach you from JS1 to SS3. If you are in Igbo place,
in my school,
to Yoruba place is Yoruba.
My school,
they don't. I don't know. There's no opportunity for Yoruba Hausa Igbo to be in the same.
Actually, it's not.
Wow, your school, you had
federal school. We had Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa. But the only thing is that
federal
you pick one.
Secondary school.
Yes, it was in Imo State. Like you pick one.
What's the name?
Federal Government Girls Owerri. You pick one. Igbo, like you know how you have electives. You either pick Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa to learn. We had 2 students in Hausa, about 6 in Yoruba, and then the rest were in Igbo.
But how do you bring that down to early childhood?
Yeah, that's going to be very hard.
Exactly. So I think this cultural thing is something that is a barrier, but then it's something, I don't know what to say, it's inevitable. But
it's inevitable.
Because you're living here too. So what is so we are advocating now that the most central language that everybody in class can learn and understand.
That's why I prefer just using English. Your parents can do the rest for you.
And I think that's what,
the parents can teach you, because if you, I don't know, but if I'm an Igbo girl in a Yoruba school and everybody's speaking Yoruba all the time,
for little children, I think
it's isolating. It's isolating.
It's isolating. So these are things parents factor in. It's a common problem in rural areas. When you are in a rural area, area for Operation Cloud is their language that most of them are speaking. Like in this community primary school,
Yes.
Igbo language, dominantly they are speaking Igbo in class.
Yeah, but I do think that's one of another major problem. From nursery school, you should be able to start mixing Igbo and English. So by in primary school, you can speak in English. If you don't get, if you don't understand, you can use simple words.
Yeah. And teachers should speak more English.
Yes, like me, when I volunteer, I don't use Igbo. Sometimes I use Igbo
They
when
don't
I
even know how to read and write in English.
Yes, I don't use Igbo unless I actually want to give you like a very, very specific instruction. I only use English. But then I'll ask you, do you understand? I'll make sure you understood what I said. If you do not understand what I said, I'll break it down in more simpler English. You might not have understood everything I said, but your brain will translate it. Just like some people that can't speak Igbo completely, but their brain translates it. As time goes on, your brain gets used to that language. Igbo is going to be taken care of by your parents. But you end up, these kids, because of everybody's like, oh, they're in rural areas, it's good for them to speak Igbo in class. They wouldn't understand English in primary one.
Yes.
And they now keep on moving them speaking Igbo.
Yes.
And then when they go to a society where
as one.
exactly,
Yes.
and you know that, let's tell the truth, it is not right, but you know that English is used to denote intelligence in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Yes, it is not right, it is stupid because English is just a language. But if someone is speaking broken English or is using incorrect words, there's a tendency for other people to look down on you.
I think if we keep talking, we'll go on and on.
Yeah.
And it shows that my guests in the house, they're really passionate about it. And we have a lot. We have different perspectives, like I said earlier, angles we want you to know about early childhood education, what children face, tips, sharing with you stories, sharing with you viewpoints, statistics, like data gathered from our field and also from international organizations and other organizations in the country, showing you how important it is to invest, promote, and advocate for early childhood education in Nigeria. So wherever you are in your community, in your state, in your home, in this country, and if you are in the continent of Africa, we implore you to join us and advocate for free, basic and quality early childhood education. Because the future leaders of tomorrow need to be honed and groomed today with the proper education. And you and I, we all can stand up for this, for a better tomorrow, for a better future, one community at a time, one child at a time. Thank you for watching. See you in our next episode. You have a lovely day.
Goodbye.